Hardy har har. We've been having a natural conversation, just going right into it. Yeah, you know.
I did watch some of the podcast. I just wanted to ask, swearing?
You can swear.
Okay, because both of us swear very casually and not realize it. So.
Oh yeah. Obviously, like you could do like historical digging into like why certain words are swear words and where they originate from. I just think it's all dumb.
So you don't like etymology at all?
I think it's cool. I just think it's like the concept of somebody deciding at one point in time
that was offensive.
This particular word is offensive.
Yeah. I feel like we've moved on past so many things from those days. Why are we still holding on to swear words?
I don't know. It's like
it certainly has loosened up over time. But.
Oh yeah, for sure. But no, that's a valid question. Like I never really thought of it that way.
Yeah, what is actually offensive about the word fuck?
I don't know.
Shit, I can kind of understand.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can't talk about
fuck.
Yeah, like you can't talk about shit. That's gross and not proper. But fuck, what?
I always thought fuck it was the phonetics of the word because it's like that strong f and then the k, so that like might make it offensive. I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, tangent.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like we're having a podcast moment.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
what's a podcast without tangents?
Yeah. Exactly. I'm sure we'll get into at least two.
Yeah.
And then over the course of the next 60 minutes or so, we'll see how it goes. Well, for everyone out there in internet land, hello, welcome to the show. I am sitting here today with Nick and Chelsea of the Goth and Nerd Music Podcast. Podcasters interviewing podcasters. That'll be fun. We're doing a little double duty here today.
Inception.
They have a really cool show where they kind of do like deep dive introspective takes on different albums. It seems like you do like focus on like one album per episode. I'll let you talk about it yourself. I'm just kind of blabbing a bit.
Yeah.
Gassing you up, glazing you a little bit.
Thank you.
But let's hear it from the two of you. Tell us about the show.
Brian, he was right. Like we do like one album because like when we first started, like I think the idea was that we were gonna like focus on one artist, and then we realized very very quickly that's going to run out of steam very quickly.
Sure. Or like your David Bowie episode's going to be fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because there's like so many different angles you could go. Like, do we want to go into the ritual magic aspect? Do we want to just do the Berlin era?
We want to do the awesome 90s industrial album that he did. Yeah. No, it's a lot easier to do it by album. And that way we can touch on the same artist, like our favorite artist, multiple times. We do try to keep the artists like not like if we have one artist one season, we try not to do it the next one. So like I think the first season I did a Motionless in White album, and then I waited until the third season to do another one.
Yeah.
So with the exception of Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah, but that was only because Chelsea started getting into the story behind Coheed. So I was like, okay, we'll just keep going. So we'll do it that way. But because we started with the Vaxxus stuff. So like not the Amory, well, it's part of the Amory Wars. Not the initial Amory Wars. I started with Unheavenly Creatures and Chelsea was just like, ooh. So I was like, all right, we'll keep this going for like until we run out, which at this point we have run out. But the Father Make Believe is out now. So.
But it started with, actually Nick has been podcasting for over 10 years and he has his own podcast, Geeky Nerd. And he asked me to do an episode of that. And I picked a musical artist for that episode. And that kind of like I was like, oh, I kind of like doing that. That was a lot of fun. And then we did a couple more bonus episodes for other podcasts on the network. And I was just like, wow, I could really do this. And then he approached me about it and we started this.
What was the artist that you did on his podcast? I'm just curious.
It was Adam Lambert.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So no one was more surprised than he was.
Because Chelsea and I didn't know each other super well at that point. And like I had like a bunch of, because like we didn't know each other that well, but we did bond over music. So like I was like, oh, I have like a list of artists in my head that I'm expecting Chelsea to do on the podcast. And then she's like, I think I'm going to do Adam Lambert. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, that's cool. Like there are rarely anything I will say no on Geeky Nerd 2. So like, yeah, that's what you want to do. And I usually, and whenever people are asking about Geeky Nerd, Chelsea's episode is one of the episodes that I always recommend to them. Because like you can actually hear us become friends on that episode. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just, I couldn't think of anything. I was like, what can I actually talk about that hasn't already been done for an hour? And I was just like, I went through an Adam Lambert phase when I was like 19. Maybe I can still talk about that.
And it came full circle because our most recent season that's out, Chelsea's last pick for season 3 was For Your Entertainment. So we like full circled it and just went through that entire album.
We touch on a lot of genres.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, I think that what's the point of doing a show like that without the possibility for discovery?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I imagine there's a lot of music that you already love and you want to talk about it, but also maybe finding new things, whether it's like, maybe it's new to only one of you, you know, like Adam Lambert or Coheed and Cambria, you know, that's our cross right now. It's two things I've learned that you've learned from each other in some way.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I was actually going to ask, like, what if there are any like albums or artists that you've found out about through each other thanks to the podcast?
Sleep Token.
Okay.
Sleep Token was funny because like I was just like, oh, I just discovered this weird band from Britain that I think Chelsea will really, really like. And we listened to This Place Will Become Your Tomb. And then they like blew up like 3-4 months later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was like right before they like blew up on TikTok.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot. That's been one of like our favorite things about the podcast is showing the other like albums that the other hasn't heard and like being able to get their like genuine like first opinion on it, which sometimes doesn't work, but most of the time it like the
9
other
times out of 10.
Yeah, the other likes what we've chosen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, what is like your, I guess, like your individual, we'll start with Nick. Like, you're just like, this is a difficult question. If somebody asked me this, I wouldn't know how to fucking answer it, but I'm going to ask you it anyways. Like, baseline, like if there was like a food pyramid of music interests, what would yours like be like in a genre perspective?
Typically, it's like the heavier side. So like it's metal, it's hard rock, punk a little less so as I've gotten older for some weird reason.
It's kids music. No, I'm joking.
Goth. My wife is really, really into like 80s goth, so I hear a lot of. I like ended up seeing Sisters of Mercy 2. Like before my wife, I was like, they did the Temple of Love song, right? And then I ended up seeing them twice in 2 years. So yeah, like I've also noticed that like a lot of the stuff that I really, really like has like a through line of something being fairly cinematic in the music, one way or another. So like my favorite band is like Coheed and Cambria. They have the big fucking story throughout their entire discography, with the exception of one. And same thing with like Sleep Token, Death Clock. A lot of my other favorite bands are all very cinematic, and there's always like some sort of aspect of like an overall story or some sort of like writing that really gravitates me to them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What about you, Chelsea?
I really like metal, hard rock, mostly like metalcore, anything with core in it, really. The last year or so, I've like moved on from like metalcore to deathcore, but I also like, I love industrial. I love industrial goth. I'm not super big on traditional goth music, surprisingly, which comes up a lot on the podcast. Like, I absolutely hate The Cure.
Okay.
But I listen to pop music sometimes, sometimes country. I've joked with Nick that I was going to do a country album, but it's mostly stick to like metalcore, metal, deathcore, stuff like that.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
What was the country album you were going to do?
It was either probably going to be Shania Twain or Garth Brooks.
Oh, hell yeah.
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 I was going to say,
you got to do it.
I couldn't remember. I was like, I had something in my
chase.
pocket.
Do the killer. Be fucking killer.
I had something in my pocket. I was like, if you do that, I'm going to do this. I think I actually joked. I was going to be like, I'll do Disintegration if you do that. Because I love that album. I think I like The Cure, but I really love Disintegration. So
The Cure is a really interesting band for me just from optics, because I always in my brain, I'm like, oh yeah, people do consider them a goth band, but I don't really like, I feel like they're optically connected to goth for sure. And like that music does resonate with that culture. But like if it wasn't the Cure, if that was any other band, that would just be like a really good 80s indie pop record.
I mean, like every band that is like considered like early goth, with the exception of Susie and the Banshees, are like, we're not goth. And Susie and the Banshees are like, sure, because I don't give a shit. Like, but like most of like, if you hear Andrew Eldritch talk about it, he's just like, we're not goth, we're rock, we're post-punk. And I'm like, what is goth? So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of something that happened with even punk to some degree, whereas like what people considered punk and goth, I think both became more about the culture versus like just the music itself.
Yeah, I think that like goth especially like kind of has so many different genres, because how can you not call industrial goth?
Yeah, totally.
Like I mean, if you've ever been to an industrial show, like those people are definitely goth. And
they either look very goth or like in the military.
Yeah.
And no in between.
Yeah.
It's one or the other for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think goth is, I mean, I could be yelled at for this, but I think it's a very broad term. But that's my opinion. I know it's probably not the correct one, but yeah, I think that genres are fun. And playing with them is even funner. So like putting yourself in a box isn't really all that fun.
No, I think that...
Sorry, that idea totally left my brain as I was saying it.
You got to that point where I'm like, I don't want to talk anymore. I don't like this thought anymore.
No, I think that if you are a person, regardless of whatever social circle you choose to affiliate yourself with, if you're somebody that is just genuinely interested in arts and culture and entertainment as a whole, like regardless of whatever your exterior may present, inside there is a whole lot of fun things going on. And there are a lot of bands in these genres that I think have been able to kind of put that out there in a way, and people will be like, well, that doesn't make sense, why are they doing that? And it's like here's like an example I could think of for this would be like Paramore, right? And I feel like Paramore spent like the past 10 years of their career being like held up to the standard of an album that they recorded when they were like 16 years old. And it's like, they've always just been a pop rock band, but pop rock changes.
Yeah.
And they've changed. And you haven't as a listener. You should evolve and just enjoy what this band is doing.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I agree with that. There's most of the time whenever a band like quote unquote sells out, I typically still like it. The example I always go to is like AFI. Because like AFI started out as like, hardcore punk band and then slowly went into like, like death rock and everything. The more recent stuff, I'm not a huge fan of just because it sounds like Black Audio. And I'd rather Black Audio be Black Audio and AFI be AFI. But like generally speaking, I've liked pretty much everything that they've come out with.
Yeah, that's kind of I feel very similar. That's how I feel. Oh, maybe not so much now, but like when Fall Out Boy came back, it felt like, oh, this is just a continuation of Patty Stump's solo stuff. And it's just like, I was like, it all sounds like basketball music. I'm not a huge fan of it personally. But I mean, it did well for them. It worked.
Yeah.
But I think the point I'm trying to get is like, okay, like I'm sure Davey Havoc is like, I would love to do more Black Audio stuff, but if I do it as AFI, I could pay for my house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the AFI name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, I think that's a blessing and a curse to, I guess, fame and success. And it sucks when you're like, if you're like an individual artist that gets famous through a band, and now it's like really hard to express yourself outside of that band.
Yeah,
it can be really hard to do that. Going back to Paramore, shout outs to Hayley Williams, somebody that has seemed to somehow claw her way out of the shadow of Paramore.
Well, I mean, she ended up doing it just because she just went like, just full blown, just like, I'm going to do the thing that you least expect me to do.
Yeah.
And it was from what I have heard, the bit that I've heard, it is really amazing. It's like, oh, I would not have expected that from her. But it's like, it's something completely, like, it's a very different from like Misery Business. Like if you were to like chart like Misery Business to what she's doing now, it's just like, it's kind of amazing.
Totally. But it's like, people grow. Misery Business is 20 years old.
She refuses to play it at this point too.
Yeah, I think they're playing it again.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I saw them not too long ago, and I'm pretty sure they played it.
Okay. I heard her say that she doesn't want to play that anymore because she wrote it at a time where she didn't understand how like toxic the song actually is.
Yeah, but I think an unfortunate reality is that like her fans don't care.
I mean, fair.
Everybody hears that and they just want to be 16 again for 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, just let it happen.
Yeah, we were all shitty at 16.
and on the scale of things that are shitty in the world right now, that is really not that big of a deal in my personal opinion.
Yeah, that bar keeps moving. So
it's moving at a very alarming rate.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, back to fun things. So outside of listening to rock music, I have noticed that you have done some more pop adjacent albums on the show as well. And who's bringing those to the table and why? I'm just curious.
I think it's a little bit of both of us.
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like you listen to more genres of like harder music, and I probably listen to like other kinds of genres like country and like pop.
I like pop.
Yeah.
I like power pop a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. You grew up with country though, so like that you have like that like affection for it where I did not. I grew up in a house where my dad was like, no. So but at the same time, I grew up in a house where my dad loved jazz and I can't stand jazz. So it makes me feel weird. So
Do you ever like do an album that that the both of you are not going to be super into just as like a social experiment, or do you try to keep it positive?
We have talked about doing that as a bonus episode. But generally speaking, we try to keep it positive just because like for me, me personally, I don't like watching that kind of stuff or listening to that kind of stuff. So, because like my best friend, whenever we first released the podcast, he was just like, you guys should like argue more. Like that is a very paraphrasing of what he said to us.
Yeah.
And like Chelsea and I just kind of looked at each other. We're like, yeah, sure. Okay. And we're like, we're not doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like conflict is part of like storytelling sometimes, but I really like that it's just like two friends sitting down to talk about music.
Yeah.
And very rarely do you like fight with your friend when you're talking about music.
Yeah.
So just like a nice casual chat of like, this is what I love. This is why I love it. And I want to show it to you because you're my friend. And you may or may not like it. And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, we do end up liking each other's stuff.
Yeah, you got me back into Motionless in White. So we have that. And yeah, we both got into Sleep Token from it. So yeah.
Cool. Now, the show, my show, is primarily based around music, obviously. Pittsburgh music. I'm curious if either of you have any experience, interaction, or fucks to give. I'm not going to put that on you. What's both of your experience, if any, with the Pittsburgh music scene?
I think the Pittsburgh music scene is great. Like, I think we have a lot of super talented bands around of all genres. I don't go to as many local shows as I would like to because I forget, or like I have chronic pain. So sometimes I can't go. There's been a couple shows that I've gotten tickets to and I'm just like, I can't do it tonight. But no, I think the Pittsburgh music local scene is great.
I've mostly interacted with them as a filmmaker because I've done a couple. The one band, they're more Altoona, but it was my former director of photography band, Seas We Fear to Sail. So I did a video for them. I've done, whenever my old production company was like flirting with the idea of doing like live concerts and everything like that, we recorded a black metal show on Good Friday at the Smiling Moose, may it rest in peace. And so like that was what we ended up like not wanting to do that because we're like, this is a lot of work that we're not passionate enough about it.
Sure.
But yeah, so like most of my interactions have been like stuff like that.
I feel like this is going to be this is interesting to me. And I want to pull the thread on this a little bit because I spend a lot of time in here talking with people that are in bands. And there's always that question of like, how do you reach new ears, new audience? There's obviously people around the city that love music. There's people that love, like both of you love hard rock, heavy metal. I talk to a lot of degenerates that make that kind of stuff. And there's always that question, like, how do we connect with new people, right? Mm-hmm. So now I'm sitting here with two people that are a little disconnected from the local music scene, and I understand why, but people that love music. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious what we could do, if anything, to help it become maybe more inviting or interesting, or just something that feels like it would be like worth going out of your way, worth putting your time into. Because I know we only have so much time, right?
Oh,
what could we do?
I don't know. I feel so bad that you phrased it that way because
there's no way to phrase it. I'm trying to phrase it in like the friendliest way possible, but like I mean, just like that's just kind of the way I'm seeing the situation. Because like you're not the only two people that I know that love music that don't make it out to a lot of shows. Mm-hmm. They just don't happen to be on my podcast at the same time most of the time. So I'm using this platform as an opportunity to try to facilitate that discussion because there's probably something really positive here for everyone to learn.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I go to local shows when I know someone who is playing.
Of course.
Because like I want to go and support them, and then then I find new bands that way. That's how I know when they're happening because like my friends tell me. So maybe like some easy way to get like a list of like the events happening like with the bands and like their local show, like a directory, not a directory. What's the word I'm looking for?
Newsletter? I don't think that's what you're looking for.
No.
Like an event listing, a calendar?
Yeah. That's, yes.
Yeah, like a calendar or like, or a newsletter or some kind of directory where it can just be like, instead of relying on like the individual bands, like you can go to like a website and be like, oh, this local band is playing this kind of genre at this place, like Mr. Smalls or the Shred Shed or the Squirrel Hill Sports Bar.
Yeah, I mean, shout outs to the Pittsburgh Music Tracker. This does exist.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
But well, there we go.
But the thing is, you run into the same issue because it's like, there's definitely an issue that you pointed out that is huge in terms of bands not promoting themselves properly or enough. I think a lot of us over a certain period of time just feel like because we posted something on the internet, everyone's going to see it. Mm-hmm. We also feel like we're tired of always nagging our friends. They don't care anyways, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas it's like, if I were to text you, Chelsea, and be like, hey, I have a show, maybe you would do your best to actually come out. It helps to invite somebody. Mm-hmm. But the other point is that how would you know about the Pittsburgh Music Tracker unless someone told you about it? You're not just going to, so it's that same thing. You need some access to information. But it does exist, just so you know.
Okay, well, now I'm going to go.
This episode's sponsored by the Pittsburgh Music Tracker.
No, that sounds really great because, like I do like, follow some local bands on social media, but like maybe I'll miss something. And it's also, it's kind of shitty that like, the promotion has to fall on the bands to do it themselves. But I don't really know. I'm not in a band, so I don't know how the promo for shows goes. Like if it is only the band doing it, or
it honestly varies from situation to situation. Like depends on the venue. Like if I was playing a show at Rest in Peace, the Smiling Moose, they're not doing a fucking thing about that. Like you book the show, and if the show's being put on by a bigger promoter, hopefully they're talking about it, but that's about it. You gotta put in the extra work. And I think like in a way, like you should as a band, I don't think you should get too comfortable as a band. I think even as you get big, it's not like you just stop promoting yourself as a band, you know, like there's a reason why you still see like Sleep Token, right? They're always doing like weird little ambiguous interviews and drum and videos and stuff. They're still out there doing things that to let you know that they exist. You have to.
Yeah, their weird marketing is top tier.
That made me like their marketing was like made me very happy because it reminded me so much of like the early 2000s or early 2010s, late 2000s, like viral, like IRL viral marketing like they did with like Dark Knight and stuff like that. It made me very happy. That became like a lost art form of like marketing.
Unfortunately, though, not a lot of bands have the Sleep Token budget.
No, they are spending all of RCA's money.
Yeah, I think that there's. I'm curious, like going to you, Nick, on this question, in terms of like interest, right? It's like we're talking about a lot of the stuff that you like, which is like very theatrical. These are like big production things. And obviously a lot of bands on a smaller scale, local scale, don't have the theatrical elements to these things. And is that something for you?
I mean, that would help. I do think there's a certain level of like, we're just gonna go up there and not do anything. Like, you know, we're gonna show up and we're gonna play and then we're gonna leave.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Like the one that like comes to mind is like we went to go see Avatar in December, yeah.
I think.
And like, you know, like they're a mid-level band, not everyone. If you're not into metal, you don't necessarily know who Avatar is and everything like that. But like they put so much production value into their show. It was insane. I told Chelsea, I'm like, I've never seen a band of like this level, like, cause they were playing stage AE, like of this level that like put this much thought and effort into their stage performance. Like the band, like they had the drum kit on like a dolly that would split apart. So like the lead singer could also be on a dolly and get dragged behind stage so they could do like another thing. And I'm just like that. Not that I expect local bands to do that kind of stuff, but like some sort of theatricality would be really great. I mean, even going back to that show that I told you about with the black metal show, like one of the things that like does turn me off about like most of our local scenes in general, like this is not just music, is like there's a lot of backbiting. There's a lot of infighting, a lot of shit talking. Like when we did that show, there were 4 different bands on that show. And I don't remember any of them, so I'm not going to call them out or anything. But like after every single band got off, what they did was they all went to the back of the bar and shit talked the band that was on, and then so on and so forth. And I'm like, this isn't very welcoming.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I apologize that you had that experience. I wasn't there. So,
this is going on like 15-ish years or something like that.
Yeah. I think that, you know, that's a really unfortunate reality, is that sometimes as a local band, you never know like who's in the audience, right? And what might seem like a lame show, maybe there's not a whole lot of people there or whatever, like even if you don't know those people, like your bad attitude is going to like resonate on those people forever. And then you're going to end up with somebody like poor Nick here who thinks that every single band in Pittsburgh hates each other now because of a show.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's a big turnoff.
But no, I'm making, I'm using drama to highlight my point. Sure. But that, I think the bigger point I'm trying to make is that like, I think it's really important for like performers to, regardless of however small the show may seem, they do the best show that you possibly can and make it an inviting, comfortable experience for everybody that's there, because nobody owes you anything, right? Like if somebody's going out of their way to come to a show, whether they're working it or if they just bought a ticket or were dragged by a friend, like that's still their Friday or Saturday night out. You know, a lot of people that might be the one weekend that month that they're able to go do anything, you know, and you're going to ruin that person's night. You got to have empathy for the audience.
Yeah.
I'm a big platformer of this concept. And I think all of these things that we're talking about could help things a little bit more.
Yeah, I would really just like to see like more community in general in Pittsburgh. I think the problem, Pittsburgh is, I always make the comment like Pittsburgh is the world's biggest movie stage because it's such a small city. So you could get you get so many different vibes so quickly, and it's like everyone knows each other. You're 6 degrees of separation.
course.
Pittsburgh is so small, and I would like to see a little bit more like welcoming and vibes in general.
Yeah, I think I need to invite you out to some events. Both of you. You'll be my fucking guests of honor.
We have been to MySpace Nice and Sugar.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yes, we loved Sugar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thanks for coming to those. It's a little bit different, but that's fun. I appreciate the support.
I've seen Grey Walker a bunch.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
thanks for that as well.
Yeah.
I think Nick, you might like my other band, Normal Creatures. We have live visuals and projections and sometimes costume changes.
We saw you guys at Millville.
Oh, nice.
We were at Millville also, yeah.
Was it this past year?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because you were before the Unicorns.
Yeah.
Unicorns, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I forgot about that. We did see that.
Yeah, thanks for coming. That was a good set, but that wasn't our full production.
I did download you guys afterwards.
Oh, so. Hey! Thanks. Yay! I'm glad you were at Millville Music Fest. So you were at some. You have been to some shows.
Yeah.
You've seen some things.
Yeah.
Millville, that was a good time.
Yeah.
That was community.
I
that
love
was people getting along.
Yes, I love the Millville Music Festival. I think it's the best like little music festival in the city. Like Germantown is good, but Millville is just so walkable and like so welcoming that, and I mean, granted, like for the Millville Music Festival, I'm usually going back and forth from the community center to Mr. Small's.
Yeah.
So I don't walk around too much, but
yeah, I think that there's several different reasons why. I think that the biggest reason why, if you're just comparing those two festivals, is the teams. Like the team that works on Millville is so much larger than the booking committee for the Deutschtown. Mm-hmm. And I think that because it's larger, it's also much more diverse in terms of people that know people and people that are thinking about bands to book and ways to build out stages. Mm-hmm. They just have a lot more creative resources.
Yeah, that makes sense. Not that I don't like Deutschtown. Yeah. But like, it's just, the Millville. I think maybe for Millville, like, there's more music that like I personally like.
Sure. It does cater more to loud, angry stuff for sure.
Yeah. Like I said, community center back and forth with Mr. Smalls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I have like a deep like. I got married at Mr. Smalls, so like there's a lot of good feelings around that. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And like Liz was our wedding coordinator.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna throw something in your corner here because I feel like I kind of lightly threw y'all under the bus over the Pittsburgh music scene stuff, and I didn't mean to do that, but I could throw myself under the bus for something for you. So I have a really hard time keeping up with new music and new releases. I never know what's going on, what's coming out. There's bands I'm like, oh, I haven't thought about that band in years. I wonder if they have a new album out, and they have 3 new albums out. It happens a lot. I'm curious how the both of you keep up with new music, and if you have any pointers for somebody like me that has access to the internet. I can find, it's not as if I, live in a fucking cave somewhere, but I still have a really hard time connecting with new music or just finding it.
For me, I only keep up with like certain bands. Like most of the time I find things out by accident. But there are like my favorite bands I follow pretty closely. And then like I have some other friends that'll be like, hey, there's a new album coming out. But I do follow like I said, my favorite bands pretty closely. So I can be like, oh, there's a new album coming out. Like I was super excited for the new Motionless song. And I actually told my friend who moved out of the country recently, just like, hey, he's one of my metalcore, like we talk metalcore all the time. And I was just like, there's a new Motionless coming out like in a couple days. And he's like, oh shit, I didn't even know. So just that. But other than like the specific, like maybe 6 bands that I follow well, I don't have any idea either. So you'd have to, he's the one that is mostly like, Chelsea, there's a new band coming out or a new album coming out. And I'm like, oh, okay, I should check that out.
Mostly I'll just every once in a while, like like at night, I'll just go on to Apple Music, and Apple Music has a pretty decent search. So I'll go to like the search, and like they have it broken up by genres and everything like that. And I will just go through and like, oh, that sounds interesting. I'll check this out. And so I'll just listen to it, and like and also on top of that, like the homepage on Apple Music is pretty good about feeding you new music based off of like what you already listened to.
Yeah.
So like I'll go through that pretty regularly and just like give things a listen. Like that's how I found out about like President, which I know is controversial for some people. But same thing with like Spirit Box, which I've really liked all of Spirit Box's recent stuff. So like that's how I find a lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I know I keep ending my sentence with yeah, but
Yeah. No, I think that I used to be really good with at the time when I had like a desk job and using like Spotify and like going through like weekly Wrapped stuff, and it would like my algorithm would feed it, and I would find out about a lot of new stuff then. But now I don't really listen to too much music on Spotify or on Apple, or I mostly listen to like podcasts in my car or demos of stuff that I'm working on like a freak because I can't stop working. So I don't get caught up. I just usually it's just like by a friend, like usually forcing me to listen to something. They have to like hold me down by my wrists and ankles and shove it in my ear as deep as they can.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, cool. I think I like this.
Yeah, I think relying on your friends to show you new music is probably the easiest way to, especially since like if you are busy all the time, you don't have that time to sit down and do that. So that's part of the reason why I like having our podcast so much, because it kind of keeps us on our toes.
yeah.
Too. Like I'm always looking out for like, what new music can I show Nick? So it brings that, but I am not good at finding it either. Aside, like I said, aside from the bands that I follow most often.
Outside of music, what would you say, Nick? I'm start with you. Outside of music, what is like I don't even know if music's like your number one thing, but we'll just say in the context here it is. What is like another thing that you enjoy as much as music, if not more?
Filmmaking and writing. I do. I had a creative burnout in like 2018, and I'm just now starting to get back on my feet with that kind of stuff. So I've been doing a lot more of that kind of stuff, and like watching a lot more of like theory and so on and so forth, and getting myself back on my feet creatively.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I do a lot of that. Like so. Writing, like I write and I direct, so like those are like the two things that I really, really focus on a lot. And watching stuff about like craft.
When you talk about like writing and directing, are you interested in like short format, long format, like what or whatever?
Because of money, short format right
Sure.
now. But ideally, I would like to do. I have 3 feature-length scripts that I wrote that I would like to get produced at some point. I wrote them with producer brain in mind, where I'm like, this is as cheap as I can possibly make it. But like as of right now, like money-wise, it's just short form. Those what I've been working on.
Totally. I mean, that also like really makes me a lot less surprised. Not that I was surprised that you were into Coheed and Cambria and things like that, but it's all kind of making sense.
Yeah. I'm not much of a riddle when you actually get to know me. It's like, oh, that all makes sense.
Sure,
like,
it all tracks. It all lines up. Chelsea, what about you?
Well, I will say music is definitely my number one. If I can, it's been a rough year with chronic pain, so I haven't been able to go to as much, and money, obviously. I haven't been able to go to as many shows as I would like. But like my favorite, like I love traveling to see out of town, like see bands that I like out of town, big, small. But lately I've been mostly trying to get more into like art, doing my own art. I've been doing a lot of like beadwork and stuff like that. And yeah, that's...
Your stuff is very good because you stopped You stopped doing it for a while, right? And you picked it back up, or did you just pick it back up?
No, I just started it.
Okay, so that's even more impressive then.
I just started it.
I thought you did it when you were younger and then you picked it back up, but it was like like Chelsea's stuff that she's done is really good.
Oh, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've been in a bit of a creative rut for a while, so I've just been trying to like find new like art forms to do. Like this is like the latest is beadwork, but I also like painting, and I'm gonna get into sculpture and diorama making. I especially like dioramas, but the beads is the current obsession.
Yeah, it seems like it's funny how inspiration works. It sounds like we have a very similar thing where it's like either I want to do nothing or I want to do a dozen things at once.
Yes, exactly.
I can't just find like a couple things and coast in a way that's like manageable.
Yes.
Like, no, it has to be completely unmanageable, or it's the only way it works.
Are you neurotypical? Didn't mean to call you out like that, but yeah, no, it is just like, I want to do all of things, or I have done all of the things and now I can do none of the things.
So you wrapped up your last season of the podcast over the summer, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And what's in the future? What's going on? You working on stuff, or are we just chilling out for the winter, hibernating?
We do plan on coming back for another season. More bonus episodes. We have more bonus episodes planned.
Yeah.
Or at least talked about.
That's planning for us. We've talked about it. Yeah.
We've been talking about doing Sing the Sorrow by AFI as a bonus episode for
the entirety of the podcast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it have to be a bonus episode and not just an episode?
Typically a lot of times the bonus episodes are something that we are both, so like we're like kind of going back to the conversation before, we inadvertently the podcast ended up happening where like we ended up exposing each other to stuff that we are not familiar with.
Okay, yeah.
And so like one of our bonus episodes is Razorblade Romance by him, because that is a big album for both of us.
Okay, yeah.
So we did that. That's why, and like the same thing with Sing the Sorrow. Sing the Sorrow is a big album for me. It's a big album for Chelsea.
Sure.
And then like we have like a 5-year difference. So like that's the era that things are just like, it makes me feel very old. Like, you know, like when we did American Idiot, Chelsea and I were at the same Green Day show where MCR was like direct support, and I was a freshman in college and she was in 8th grade. So like that, that made me feel real good. But yeah. But that's typically the reason why, like, bonus episodes are usually that, or like if a band that we both really, really love have an album that comes out, we'll do a bonus episode about that, as opposed to like waiting to put it in the queue for like a season.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How often do the two, like, okay, so if you're not recording episodes, are you just like holding on to things, waiting to show the other person?
Yes.
Yeah.
And just being all secretive with things that you found?
yes.
Have either of you ever like, how much can you talk about music with each other outside of the podcast then? Because what if somebody's like, oh, I found this Turnstile record, and then the other person's like, I was going to bring that up. Damn it. You know?
Actually, that just recently happened. I just recently got into the funeral portrait, and I was like really excited, and I sent it to Nick, and he started listening to the album, and it was just like, yeah, I started listening to it, and I was like, oh, I was going to do that on my podcast for my podcast. I probably shouldn't have sent it to you. So it does happen, but it is hard. Like Nick, my little sister wanted to come on and do Death of Peace of Mind by Bad Omens. And this man waited like a full year to listen to that full album.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how he had the patience. Sometimes my ADHD kicks in and I forget. But like we can talk about it, but we get into such like a deep dive on the podcast that we like really, really get into like the lyrics and the meaning and how it makes us feel on the podcast. And that's not always something that we talk about when we're just casually talking music. I mean, it comes up, but it's not like as in depth as it is on the podcast.
It really only gets that in depth if we're like drinking together.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, then we'll like, there will be times where like after a party, like Chelsea and I are very much both night owls. So there have been more than one time, like when we have like a friend party, that we're the only two like awake and we're just like listening to music and talking about it, and we're both fairly drunk. So then we'll get deep into it. But yeah, like, but we still talk about, like, we bonded, like our friendship is based off of music. So like that's where we first became friends, was through that. So like we still talk about music quite a bit. A lot of times I think it comes down to like there have been we want to show each other stuff in person. So sometimes we forget to share stuff with each other because they're just like, well, I'm not going to text that to her right now because I want to like talk to her in person and see her reaction about it.
Yeah.
So like, and there have been more than one time where like there was a band that plays and I go, oh, I meant to send this to you. So yeah.
We're talking about a lot about like types of music that we like and styles of music and optics of things. But I'm curious in terms of like the actual stories of music, lyrical content behind music. Like, what are some of the things that really both of you are like, what are some things that both of you are really like drawn to in terms of like lyrical content when it comes to music? Because there's a lot of people out there that just don't really even care about lyrics and songwriting in that way. And I think a lot of artists have learned that over the years, and it certainly shows in a lot of newer songwriting. But, you know, I like a good song with meaning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're both super big on lyrics. Like that's mostly like what we like get into, because neither one of us are musicians, so words are the easiest thing for us to relate to. But I love you know, relatable songs, like, you know, about struggles, overcoming struggles, pain, struggles with like mental illness, relationships, like really deep, meaningful songs that I can relate to, or like especially if I can relate to that to what I'm going through, or like right at the moment. I really like that.
Very similar. I also, there's a lot of play on words. I do like puns. I'm on the podcast, I say all the time, I'm a slut for a good internal rhyme, or a good approximate rhyme as well. So I like the phoneticism of music as well. I'm also like pretty big on economy of words, like both in my own writing as well as like other people's writing. So being able to say the most with the least amount of words, I always find really, really impressive.
Interesting. I'm curious now, do you have any like, I know we like to lean on the positive here, but we're not on your show, we're on my show. I'm Mr. Negative. No, but no, I'm curious just as, I guess like as a songwriter, because, okay, I guess I should ask, are either of you songwriters or musicians in any way?
No.
Okay, excellent. Cool. So as a songwriter, talking to two people that love music that are not necessarily contributors to the art form, what are maybe some like pet peeves of music or lyrics that both of you have?
I'm trying to.
But maybe there's nothing. Maybe you're just.
I know that
you're just a nice positive soul.
I am not. No, I am not. No, I'm not. No, I know that I have a ton of musical pet peeves, but because you asked me the direct question, all of them have gone out. But I do know that I have like a lot of pet peeves when it comes to writing.
We just need like 8 ounces of whiskey to unlock it.
For me, like it's usually like, it's like you need to be talking about something else, and I'm like, oh, this is the thing I hate.
Yeah,
like that usually, because like my day job is like I'm a legal videographer, so like I videotape like depositions, and people are like, oh, what are some of the weirdest stories? I'm like, I can't tell you off the top of my head, man. I have been sitting in on like cases that are really fucking weird, but like they have to come up in conversation that's going to spark something else.
Totally, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Very rarely do I get to like sit down and have this type of a conversation with people like in this format. I don't know if I've had people on the show before that aren't musicians by any means, but we're not really talking about music at the same time. So I'm just always so curious, like those questions that the little guy, the little underground musician guy wants to know. Because like I said earlier, we're always talking about these things when I am here with musicians, you know, like what can we do to make our art better? That's such a fucking ambiguous question, right? Actually, and speaking of fucking, I feel like there's been a dramatic lack of swearing after we did that whole thing in the beginning.
I know.
Asking about swearing.
I know.
I don't feel like any of us have thrown so much as a hoot and holler and goddamn or anything. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That is true. That is true. Well, now that you said it, maybe we'll start again.
Yeah.
But no, I do feel like genuinely bad because I know that I have plenty of musical pet peeves. And I literally can't think of one off the top of my head.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you come across any, just make a list and you can just, email me randomly or whatever. Get a hold of me.
Like, I hate it when people do this.
Yeah.
I can't really. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. I think from what I have gathered, the simple answer is usually the right answer, usually the best answer. And I think what we need to do is just do the hard work, write genuine music, learn how to play it, put together a fun show, and then invite your friends out.
Yeah, that's
Is it any more complicated than that?
No,
Probably not.
No, I don't
Probably
think so.
not.
No. I'm not, I mean, I do like theatrics, but I'm not as it's not as necessary for me as it is for Nick.
I mean, it's not necessary.
I
It's
know,
what I prefer.
But
so, like,
sweet.
I've seen some really awesome shows where like there was no frills at all, and just the talent of the people on the stage like really brought it.
Well, yeah, I think that's at the end of the day, it's like, because I've struggled with this as a performer, putting together like a show with like basically with like stage play elements, like a huge thing. You start getting caught up in like, oh, we could do this, we could do that. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, wait, we're a live band. And now like the live band element of this show is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. And I think that could be kind of confusing to some people, but I'm sure like going back to Avatar, obviously the live band is the center of that performance. So you got to find the right way to balance all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I think it's also, you mentioned it, like sincerity. Like in art in general, like sincerity is something that I gravitate very heavily to. And I have like the last couple of years, like one of the things that I will get on a soapbox about is like I hate like the online discourse about films. Hate it, despise it. Like Cinnamon Sins, I despise Cinnamon Sins. Same thing with like Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah.
Hate them all because it's not sincere. It's just doing it for essentially money at this point because it's advertising dollars.
Yeah.
So like sincerity is something that attracts me a lot more.
One thing that a pet peeve that I have when it comes to film is the way that I see a lot of my friends online. We're friends online, but most of us aren't actually friends by any means. But the way that they talk about movies, sometimes I hear people talk about music like this, but more people talk about movies because more people watch movies than listen to music, at least from my perspective.
Everyone thinks they understand how movies are made. Not everyone thinks they understand how music is made.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
And I think that I always hate, like, there will be like, oh, I saw this movie and like, it was okay, but it wasn't as good as such and such.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't you just be like, I saw this movie, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never like, and like people do the same thing. Oh, like I had this burger. It wasn't as good as Joe's, but it was fine. It's like, just enjoy the fact that you had the fucking burger and it was okay.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I
everything
despise
doesn't
that.
have to be better than the last thing that happened.
Mhm.
That's like impossible.
Yeah.
And if you're always expecting like every single thing you interact with to be better than the last thing you interacted with, you're setting yourself up for a massive amount of disappointment.
I mean, there's also going to be a ceiling. Like,
Yes.
that can't happen
Yes.
forever.
Yeah.
So yeah. But no, I agree with you. Like that also drives me nuts where like people were talking about, it was like, well, this movie was better. And I'm like, cool. Like, let's just talk about the movie as like a singular piece of art. And like, don't talk about it outside of that. Like you don't bring other elements in whenever you're talking about, like, if you're deconstructing something, you don't bring like extra literary materials in, because that's not how you deconstruct something. It has to stay within the confines of that piece of art.
Sure.
So like, just do that, and just how did this make you feel? Like the one movie that I always bring up that I don't particularly like, but like The Lighthouse by Robert Eggers. Like everyone's just like, but he made you feel like you were stuck on the island with those people, and he did a fantastic job. I don't like those two people. I don't want to be stuck on an island with those two people. So like, yes, he succeeded in that, but it doesn't mean that like I would necessarily like that. But that's also a valid a valid criticism sort of thing. And it drives me nuts. It absolutely drives me nuts.
Yeah, and like every piece of art, every film, every album doesn't have to be for everybody.
Yeah.
If it was, there would be no need to keep continuing art. If we were able to just that's why there's so much. Find the thing that you like.
Yeah.
The world's a cheesecake factory. The menu's big as fuck. Just find something that you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have to admit that I have been like that in the past where like, I don't like that.
Of course. And we all have. We're human.
But
what
yeah, I've been actively like trying to like be like, okay, someone does like this, but it still pops through sometimes. But I've been genuinely trying to make a better effort to be like, not to yuck someone's yum, as they say. But yeah, there are just some things that I just don't like.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is going to be like probably my last question about the podcast, and maybe my last question this might be the last question I ever ask anyone ever.
Okay.
Oh, that's dramatic.
Sorry. I know you like drama. Build this up. No, I'm curious, Nick, Chelsea, from doing this podcast now for as long as you've done it, you've reviewed a bunch of albums, you've spent, time with these things. I'm curious how this has like changed your listening habits and the way that you digest art, even if you're not like listening to stuff for the podcast. Do you feel like either of you now listen to music in a different way than you did before starting this podcast?
A little bit. Yeah. I've always listened to music really deeply. But being able to like talk through like my thoughts and feelings on it has really like been able to open up like different meanings and bring my love for music deeper. And sometimes I do listen to things that are just like, man, I'm feeling this way about what this artist said. I wonder how that's making other people feel. Like, how are they like resonating with this? Because I'm resonating in it in this way, but someone else who's going through a completely different circumstance, like, could be seeing it that way. And just like the ability to like see music from multiple perspectives, and like have more empathy for like my fellow music listener, I guess. That's not really what it is. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're just becoming a more empathetic listener.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I
would say so. Like, I mean, if you listen to like, like Wake of the Fallen, and then you listen to, what was the last album we did? We did Sam's Parkway Drive.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like there's a distinct difference between the way that we talk about music. So yeah, I think we both have like grown quite a bit in that way. Like I feel like I can articulate a little bit better.
I can.
Yeah. I feel like I can articulate a little bit better about music. And it's also like one of the things that I really like about our podcast is that like we go on tangents. Like we do have like, 4-hour long episodes, but everything is always tied to the music. The tangents are because something in the lyrics, something in the music reminds one of us of something, and then we want to share it with each other.
Of course.
So like I always felt like our podcast is like a very pure form of like art criticism, I guess. No, it has to be art criticism because then I want to be fair use. So yeah, it's art criticism. Yeah. Yeah. The government is listening. It's art criticism. So yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I want to thank you both for coming by today.
Of course.
To chit chat about art and life and hating everything, which you don't. You're both very lovely people.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, I mean, before we pull this train around to the station and deboard, is there anything you want to let the lovely people of the internet know?
the Goth and Nerd is also part of a whole podcast network. So there's Goth and Nerd. There's my podcast that we mentioned, the Geeky Nerd podcast, which I would love to have you on. Because based off of everything,
hit me up, big dog.
everything around. Because I have one-on-one conversations with people about what they're nerdy and or passionate about.
Oh God.
We keep it to one
Adam
subject.
Lambert.
We keep it to one subject. And then my wife has a Avatar: The Last Airbender podcast. And then like all good podcasting networks, we have a true crime podcast called Creep Me Out. And then we're trying to do a D&D podcast because we actually, as a network, we play D&D together. We actually did that last night.
Yes.
But yeah, you can check that out. And then my movie, I don't know when this is coming out. I don't know what your release schedule is like.
It'll be in like 4 weeks, probably.
Okay. You hold them way less than I do. I usually hold them for a while. But my film, Pickman's Model, should be coming out in April. We're trying to do like a big premiere, local premiere or something like that.
Keep me posted.
Yeah,
Send me a message.
We'll do.
As we've talked about.
Yes. But yeah, if you want to check that out. But yeah, do you have anything, Chels?
No, not really. I've just been chilling. And I am nowhere close to being able to like show or sell my beadwork anywhere. I've just been making little trinkets for my friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, with all of that being said, I'm going to do my little outro and then we're going to skedaddle, right? Okay. Well, that's all, folks. One more time. Nick, Chelsea, thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
I'll be back again next week with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Brian Sykes House. Start the Beat is the podcast. 2026 is the year. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of the people around you. Peace out. We did it. That was a podcast.
Yay!
Yeah!